Alexandra Eala's incredible Wimbledon 2026 journey may have ended on center court, but what happened over these 2 unforgettable weeks changed tennis forever. And honestly, the final score does not fully explain how close this match truly was. Jasmine Paolini defeated Eala 6-4, 4-6, 6-3 in the 4th round of Wimbledon, but the difference between victory and defeat came down to only a handful of moments. One break point here, one missed forehand there, one slightly slower reaction in the 3rd set. That was the margin separating Alex Eala from becoming the first Filipino player in history to reach a Grand Slam quarterfinal. But before we talk about the heartbreak, we need to understand the scale of what Alexandra Eala accomplished during this tournament. Because this was not simply a good run. This was one of the most important breakthroughs women's tennis has seen in years. When Wimbledon began, Eala arrived as the number 29 seed. That alone was already historic. No Filipina player had ever entered Wimbledon as a seeded competitor before. 12 months earlier, she was still fighting to establish herself consistently at the highest level. There were still people questioning whether her Miami breakthrough in 2025 had been a one-time run. There were still analysts wondering if her aggressive left-handed game could truly survive on grass courts against elite competition. Then Wimbledon happened, and suddenly the entire tennis world understood that Alex Eala was no longer a rising prospect. She had become a real threat. Her tournament started with complete control. She dismantled Renata Zarazua in straight sets, 6-1, 6-2. The match lasted barely over an hour, and from the very beginning she looked calm, composed, and completely comfortable on grass. Her movement was sharper, her serve placement was smarter, her timing off the baseline looked cleaner than ever before. Then came Maya Joint. At first glance, that 2nd round match looked dangerous for Eala. Joint had just shocked Serena Williams in one of the biggest stories of the early tournament. Confidence was flowing through her game, momentum was on her side, and when Joint won the opening set 6-3, many people believed Eala's run might already be over. Instead, she produced one of the most ruthless comebacks of the entire tournament. She took the 2nd set 6-2 with fearless returning and aggressive shot-making. Then she completely overwhelmed Joint in the deciding set, winning it 6-0. A bagel on Wimbledon grass against a player who had just beaten Serena Williams. That was the moment people started paying real attention. But nothing prepared the sport for what happened next. Center court, 3rd round. Defending Wimbledon champion Iga Swiatek on the opposite side of the net. Multiple Grand Slam titles. One of the greatest players of her generation. A champion who understood pressure better than almost anyone in the world. And across from her stood Alexandra Eala, a 21-year-old from the Philippines carrying the hopes of an entire nation. The atmosphere inside center court felt different from the start. Filipino flags filled the stands. Fans had lined up outside the grounds before sunrise just to secure seats. Henman Hill looked more like Manila than London. Every Eala winner exploded through the stadium like a football goal. The first set alone lasted 84 exhausting minutes. Not the entire match. One set. The rallies were brutal. The tension never dropped. Eala saved set points. Swiatek saved set points. Every game felt like a battle for survival. But when the tiebreak finally arrived, Eala refused to blink. She attacked second serves fearlessly. She redirected pace beautifully. And when Swiatek finally sent a forehand long, center court erupted. Eala had taken the opening set. Then something incredible happened. Instead of tightening under pressure, she became even better. The 2nd set turned into one of the finest stretches of tennis Alexandra Eala has ever played. She exposed Swiatek's movement. She rushed her with flat left-handed angles. She attacked short balls without hesitation. While Swiatek looked tense and frustrated, Eala looked free. She won the 2nd set 6-2, straight sets, against the defending Wimbledon champion, on center court. At that moment, tennis history changed. The images from that match instantly traveled around the world. Eala falling onto the grass while stretching for a return. Eala smiling after impossible rallies. Eala dropping her racket after match point and crying during the interview afterward. Those pictures became symbols of something bigger than tennis. Because for millions of people watching in the Philippines and across Southeast Asia, this was not simply an upset. It was proof that someone from their region could stand on the biggest stage in tennis and belong there. After the match, Eala spoke emotionally about her childhood. She remembered training after school with her grandfather and brother. She talked about wearing light-up shoes and ruffled socks. She talked about dreaming of moments like this while growing up far away from the traditional centers of tennis power. And suddenly, fans around the world connected with her. Social media exploded. Wimbledon's own platforms shared clips of her speech. People who had never watched tennis before were posting emotional reactions online. Even neutral fans started saying the same thing. How am I crying over this speech like I'm Filipino? That was the power of the moment. and the support she received afterward showed how much her impact had already grown. Venus Williams publicly congratulated her. Manny Pacquiao praised her performance. Analysts across Europe and America began discussing Eala not as a future possibility, but as a present reality. By the time she reached the fourth round, center court no longer felt intimidating to her. It felt familiar. But standing across the net this time was Jasmine Paolini, and Paolini was not intimidated either. This is important to understand because casual fans may underestimate just how dangerous Jasmine Paolini is on grass. She reached the Wimbledon final in 2024. She understands movement on this surface perfectly. She knows how to absorb pace. She knows how to extend rallies until opponents overplay. Most importantly, she knows how to manage pressure moments late in Grand Slam matches. That experience mattered. The opening set was incredibly close. Eala actually started well, taking the initiative early with aggressive returning and quick baseline attacks. But Paolini slowly adjusted. She changed the rhythm of rallies. She used heavier spin. She forced Eala to hit extra shots under pressure. At 4-4, Paolini found the breakthrough. She closed the first set 6-4. Now came the true psychological test. Would Eala mentally fade after losing a tight opener? Would center court pressure finally overwhelm her? Would the emotional energy from the Swiatek upset leave her empty? Instead, she fought harder. The second set became a showcase of Eala's resilience. She attacked returns earlier. She flattened her backhand cross-court. She stepped inside the baseline whenever possible. Every point became physical. Every game became emotional. And once again, she rose under pressure. Eala took the second set 6-4. Center court erupted again. Back in the Philippines, thousands of fans gathered inside arenas and public viewing events to watch live. Restaurants stopped normal operations. Streets became quieter during key moments. Social media turned into one giant live reaction feed. An entire country was holding its breath. Then came the deciding set. This is where tennis becomes cruel, because sometimes careers change through only 2 or 3 points. Paolini broke early and immediately placed Eala under pressure. But even then, Alexandra refused to disappear. She continued fighting. She kept attacking. She kept believing. There were games where she stood only 1 point away from changing everything, but Paolini's experience finally showed. She protected her lead carefully and eventually served out the match 6-3. And just like that, the greatest Wimbledon run in Filipino tennis history was over. But here is why this loss changes nothing about Alexandra Eala's future. She did not leave Wimbledon as a player who failed. She left Wimbledon as a player the entire tour must now respect. Think about what she accomplished over these weeks. She reached the fourth round of Wimbledon for the first time in her career. She became the first Filipino player ever to reach the second week of a Grand Slam. She defeated the defending Wimbledon champion on center court. She proved her game translates beautifully onto grass. She established herself as one of the most exciting young stars in world tennis. And perhaps most importantly, she inspired an entirely new generation of fans across Southeast Asia. That impact cannot be measured only through rankings or trophies. Yes, her ranking will rise significantly after this tournament. She is projected to move into the top 20 for the first time in her career. That matters. It changes seedings. It changes draws. It changes how tournaments treat her. But the bigger change is psychological. The locker room now sees Alexandra Eala differently. Before Wimbledon, top players viewed her as dangerous. After Wimbledon, they view her as capable of beating anyone. That is a completely different category. And remember something else. She is only 21 years old. Most players are still learning how to survive early rounds at this age. Eala is already defeating Grand Slam champions on center court. The scary part for the rest of the tour is that her game still has room to grow. Her serve can become bigger. Her physical strength can improve. Her point construction can become even smarter. Her movement on grass is already excellent, but it can still sharpen further. This version of Alexandra Eala is not the finished product. It is only the beginning. The 2026 grass season alone proves that. Before Wimbledon, she won the Birmingham title. Then she reached the Berlin semifinals while defeating elite players like Elena Rybakina and Alina Svitolina. Then she produced the greatest Grand Slam run of her life at the All England Club. That is not random form. That is a pattern. And now the tennis calendar shifts toward hard courts again, where many analysts believe her aggressive left-handed style may become even more dangerous. The US Open is coming. The same tournament where she once won the junior title. The same event where her fearless attacking game can thrive under fast conditions. And after Wimbledon, nobody will overlook her there anymore. Alexandra Eala walked into London as a promising young player. She leaves London as a genuine global tennis star. The scoreboard against Paolini says 6-4, 4-6, 6-3. But history will remember much more than that score. History will remember the Filipino flags inside center court. History will remember the tears after defeating Swiatek. History will remember a 21-year-old from Quezon City proving that tennis greatness can come from places the sport once ignored. And history will remember that Wimbledon 2026 was the moment Alexandra Eala officially arrived. Not as a future possibility, not as a feel-good story, but as one of the most dangerous young players in the world. The rest of the tour has been warned. And something tells me this story is only getting started.